The Red Sox back ahead with his first home run of the year.
Red Sox baseball all season long on WDEV is brought to you by Berry Electric and Lighting Supply, Lenny Shoe and Apparel, Matt Clark's Northern Basement Systems, Packard Fuels, and the Waterbury Service Center. Your home for Boston Red Sox baseball is WDEV.
The Brady Farkas Show is produced and funded by WDEV and the Radio Vermont Group. We welcome listener feedback. Email your comments to wdev@radiovermont.com.
The teams you care about.
Mac Jones is good. That's not the question. The question is he good enough to win repeatedly in this loaded AFC?
The stories that matter to you.
If I'm Xander Bogaerts, I need three things in order to get over that insulting contract offer.
This is your home for New England sports.
Jason Tatum, superstar. Book it.
This is the Brady Farkas Show on WDEV AM, FM, and WDEVradio.com.
What's up, everybody? Brady Farkas Show here on this Thursday on WDEV AM and FM and WDEVradio.com. Short show today. We're up until 6:10, and then it's Red Sox baseball. Sox looking to salvage the 4-game set in Tampa. They've lost 3 straight. As a result, they are now a game and a half behind the Rays here in the American League wildcard picture. They're now tied in a 3-way tie with Seattle and Toronto as well in the wildcard picture. So Sox have 4 games left before the break. They need to turn it around. They have been sloppy. They haven't had timely hitting. The power continues to still be an issue, or the lack of power continues to still be an issue. The Red Sox are, you can't say they're in trouble. They're still in the playoffs as it sits today. They are getting Garrett Whitlock back. They are getting Nathan Eovaldi back. They do have Chris Sale back. Those things will all help, but hope is not a strategy. You need to come out and play better. Those acquisitions should help. We think they will help, but you can't just hold on to them as a crutch. You have to start playing better today. The Red Sox need a win. You cannot get, Taylor Walls is hitting 164 going into yesterday's game and homers. You can't have that. You cannot have that. And you knew McClanahan was going to be so good yesterday. You knew he was going to be good because he's good every time he goes out there. That's why the game on Tuesday hurt so bad, because you gave it away when you had McClanahan to deal with the next night. You can get in, as always, on the Napa Morrisville, Napa Waterbury text line, 802-585-3026. I did speak earlier today with NASCAR star Brad Keselowski. Brad Keselowski, who won the NASCAR Cup Series championship in 2012. He is racing today at Thunder Road about an hour from now, post time for the Governor's Cup there at the nation's site of excitement. So I spoke to Brad Keselowski earlier this morning. You will hear that interview at 5:45. So again, Napa Morrisville, Napa Waterbury text line is open at 802-585-3026, and Facebook and YouTube you can get in on as well.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And here we go.
The opening thoughts on the Brady Farkas Show were brought to you by Sticks and Stuff and by Swanton Lumber, Vermont's most complete locally owned home center, with locations in Enosburg, Derby, Middlesex, St. Albans, and at Swanton Lumber. They are online at sticksandstuff.com. John Henry, the owner of the Red Sox, was speaking to the Boston Globe, and he did this the other day, and he was asked about the contract situations for Rafael Devers and Xander Bogaerts, right? We've been talking about this all year. What are they going to do with Bogaerts? What are they going to do with Devers? How much does it cost to keep both? Do they want to keep both? Who do they want more? One or the other? We've been talking about it a lot. John Henry was asked about the whole thing, and he said, I'm paraphrasing, basically the following. He said, it takes 2 to tango. He says it takes 2 to tango. And that comment, to me, is fairly laughable. And if you are a Red Sox fan, you should be angered at that comment from your owner. It takes 2 to tango. Look, we know that is true, right? We know that that's true. It does take 2 sides to make a deal. But saying that it takes two to tango implies that one side has made a good offer. The Red Sox haven't. The Red Sox have not made a good offer to Xander Bogaerts. Let's talk about him first and foremost, because he is the guy who is the free agent at the end of this year. Devers, we can still worry about a little bit. So let's focus on Bogaerts. Saying it takes two to tango implies that you have made a good offer and you are angered at what the other side is doing or what the other side is balking at. The Red Sox have not made a good offer. Understand that if you're a Red Sox fan. The Red Sox have not made a real and competitive offer to Xander Bogaerts. They offered him a 1-year, $30 million extension. He has 3 years and $60 million left on his deal. He's going to opt out. That's why I say he's a free agent. They have offered him 1 year and 30 beyond that deal. So essentially 4 years for 90 is what Bogaerts would get. The 3 for 60 he's already owed and the 1 for 30 additionally. That is not a real offer. That is not it takes two to tango. That is we do not even have one side dancing yet. That is an insulting offer to Bogaerts, and it is insulting for John Henry to come out and tell the fans that basically Bogaerts is the one not playing ball. When you say it takes two to tango, you're putting the onus on the other guy. Like, hey, we've done our part. Now it's your turn. You haven't done your part. That should bother you, and it bothers John Tomasi of NBC Sports Boston also.
That is so wildly offensive to me because it takes two. You can say that in the Mookie Betts situation because you offered him over $300 million. That's a legitimate offer. He didn't take it. He wanted more. Okay. You offered Xander Bogaerts in a market where shortstops are commanding north of $300 million, whether it's Fernando Tatis, Corey Seager, Francisco Lindor. You offered him what amounts to a 1 year and $30 million extension. That's it. So when you come out and say it takes two, you have just unilaterally said to Xander Bogaerts, take it or leave it. It takes one.
Yeah, exactly. 100% agree with everything Tomasi just said. And I don't always agree with John Tomasi, but there he's got it almost word for word. It takes two to make a deal. That's true in the Mookie Betts situation. The Red Sox made an offer. They made a good offer worth several $100 million. Mookie Betts turned it down. That's fine. That is a, hey, we've taken a shot at this, a real shot. With Xander Bogaerts, they have not taken a real shot. You as a fan should be insulted there. Someone says, I'd like to pistol whip John Henry. I don't care how much money he has. He's the world's biggest loser. Well, I'm not promoting physical violence against the man, but he is telling you, basically, he is lying to you as a fan. When he says it takes two to make a deal, he's putting the fault on Bogaerts. The fault is not on Bogaerts. The fault is on him. The fault is on his side. The fault is on his side. I don't think that the Xander Bogaerts deal is going to cost as much money as everybody seems to think it is, right? Corey Seager did get over $300 million, and Fernando Tatis did, and Francisco Lindor did, and Carlos Correa is probably going to. I think Bogaerts will come back to Boston for 6 for $150. I mean, and look, that's expensive, yes, but it's not as expensive as those guys are. It's half as expensive as those guys are, less than half expensive as those guys are. So if John Henry would play ball a little bit, he could get Xander Bogaerts, I believe, because I think Bogaerts would play ball too. And that kind of led into Tomasi's next point.
Seems like the team knows how badly Bogaerts wants to be here, and it's like they're trying to use that against him. Well, maybe.
So there you go. They think the team, they think Bogaerts is so desperate to come back that they can just lowball the hell out of him. Look, there is such a thing as a hometown discount. A hometown discount is real, and I understand teams that want to exploit that. But there is a hometown discount, and then there is just flat out insulting. And what the Red Sox have done to Xander Bogaerts is flat out insulting. Right? 6 for $150, I think that is a hometown discount. If Xander Bogaerts hits the open market, it's going to be 8 for $200. It's going to be 7 for $185. 6 for $150 That is a hometown discount. It's less years, and it's a little less money. So utilize the hometown discount if you can, but do not be so insulting. I mean, think about it at your place, right? There are some of you, not all of you, but some of you really like where you work, and some of you really like your bosses. If you have an opportunity to go make a new job, to go take it, let's say you're making $45,000 right now. A new place will offer you $60,000. You go to the old place, you want them to, hey, I don't need to get that 60. Give me 53. It's an $8,000 raise for me. I like working here. I'm comfortable here. I like you. We work well together. Give me that raise. I don't need the 60. The Red Sox are essentially saying, look, you're making 45. We'll offer you 45.5 now. That is insulting. That's not a real offer. This happened to me in my real life, actually. My first job in this business when I was in Albany, I was a part-time employee, right? I was a part-time employee. And I made $9.50 an hour. That was, minimum wage was $9. I made $9.50 or something like that. Or it was $8.50 and I made $9. I think that was it. I made $9 an hour. Eventually I got up to $12 an hour before I left. I got an offer from the station in Burlington. And it was $35,000, right? The first job offer I got in Burlington was $35,000. I went back to my station and I said, look, I want to stay. Will you make me full time? And in my mind, I would have said, look, if they gave me at the time 28, I would have taken it and I would have stayed. They didn't even offer me anything. They just told me to go. They said, we're not going to make you full time because we can't do it, so just go. It's similar here. Xander Bogaerts needs to be shown the adequate respect. And John Henry telling you it takes two to tango is not, they haven't given him an offer. And they are trying to lowball him. Just like, look, Albany could have lowballed me. They could have given me less and I would have stayed. But like offering me $13 an hour is not, that's not a real offer. That's just you trying to exploit me. Someone says it's the same stuff they did with John Lester. The ownership group is terrible. I mean, Lester, I heard him talk recently. He said, oh, it's just business. I think that Bogaerts is more emotional about it than that. I also think that this stuff probably hurts him more than that. I do think he wants to come back, and I do think he'd take less, and I do think the Red Sox can take advantage of that. But don't insult the guy, and then don't insult the fans and tell us that you've essentially really tried and you haven't. Because 1 year for $30 million more, that is not a real offer. That is not a real offer. 6 for $150, I think, will get it done. The thing, if you're really looking at it now, the Red Sox do need to figure out what Xander Bogaerts is. At 6 for $150, I want him. Brady Farkas wants him. But what is Xander Bogaerts moving forward? I saw a stat today that, like, since the beginning of June, Xander Bogaerts, in terms of hitting the ball in the barrel, basically hitting it really hard, he's like 170th out of 185th qualified hitters. Like, basically, he's become a slap-hitting infielder all of a sudden. Is that who Xander Bogaerts is moving forward, or is he a guy that can hit 25, 30 home runs still? Like, if you don't want to pay Bogaerts because you think he stinks, well, that's one thing. But don't tell us that you've tried when you haven't. 6 for $150, I think, would get it done. They need Devers more than Bogaerts, but I want them both. I want them both. Look, again, I don't want to give up the prospects to go and trade for a lot of the guys that you want to trade for. I want to flex the financial muscle, too. I'll do that with Devers, and I'll do that with Bogaerts. And I've done it with Story. So you want to pay the free agents? Fine. Don't trade the prospects. That's how I look at it. It's the Brady Farkas Show on WDEV, AM and FM, and WDEVradio.com. I got a bone to pick with one member of the Red Sox who said something that was really wild to me the other day. We'll talk about that at about 6:03, or 6:05, I should say, before the game at 6:10. We'll talk about that comment at 6:10, but I'll get into that later. Peter says maybe the Red Sox have an unannounced plan to pay someone not named Devers and other than Bogaerts, given that Story is the built-in replacement. Story is a replacement for Bogarts. He is an insurance policy for Bogarts. They've got to pay Devers. They've got to pay Devers. Unless they're getting Juan Soto, they've got to pay Devers. Is the low ball offered to Xander because of Marcelo Meyer? Good question. Answered no. Marcelo Meyer is a 19-year-old the Red Sox took last year in the first round. He's their top prospect. He's a top prospect in baseball. He's very good. He is not the reason you do anything. He's not the reason you do anything at this point. You got to figure the guy played high school ball, is playing in low A ball this season, did not play college, is 19. Let's just say he's an incredibly quick riser. Let's say he gets up at 22. That's still 4 years in the minors. I'm not signing Xander Bogaerts or not wanting Xander Bogaerts because of Marcelo Meyer. It's more likely he comes up at 23 and Bogaerts is near the end of his deal and Story is near the end of his deal, and that's that. And at that point, we'll figure it out. I'm not waiting. I'm not doing something with Bogaerts because I got Meyer 4 years down the road. Speaking of down the road, what's happening down the road tonight in Barrie? The Governor's Cup. Brad Keselowski, the NASCAR star, NASCAR Cup champion a decade ago. He's going to be there racing in the late models against all your Thunder Road favorites at the Governor's Cup. I sat down with Brad Keselowski earlier. You'll hear that next on the Brady Farkas Show on WDEV.
Northfield Savings Bank is proud to sponsor WDEV at 90. Whether you're a builder, a maker, or a doer, at Northfield Savings Bank, we are proud to be the bank for Vermonters and Vermont businesses. Find out more about us at nsbvt.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
The Vermont State Colleges are the Community College of Vermont, Castleton University, Northern Vermont University, and Vermont Technical College. We exist for the benefit of Vermont. We provide diverse college experiences for Vermont students and the qualified workforce needed to grow the state's economy. We are your Vermont State Colleges. Vermonters have access to quality higher education no matter where they live. With locations within 25 miles of most households, as well as online, our state colleges are accessible to everyone. 83% of our students are Vermonters. They come to us for personal growth, career training, and better job opportunities. 2/3 of our graduates continue to live and work in Vermont, and our programs align with Vermont's workforce needs. Our students go on to provide healthcare, create new businesses, educate our children, design and engineer solutions in new technology, and more. These are the professionals that create a dynamic community and a thriving economy. Look to your Vermont State Colleges to drive Vermont's future at yourfuture.vsc.edu.
The heart is the hardest working muscle in the human body. I'm Nadia Fletcher, a cardiac nurse practitioner at Copley Hospital. Today, I want to talk about the importance of a healthy heart. When your heart is not working at its best, you're not feeling your best. Signs of potential heart problems can include chest discomfort and shortness of breath. You should see your doctor if you're experiencing these symptoms, as they can be caused by heart disease. If your doctor refers you to Copley's Cardiology Clinic, you'll be seen by either myself or our cardiologist, Dr. Adam Kunin. We will assess your condition and determine the next step. This may include a heart monitor, an echocardiogram, or a stress test. Although some heart problems are hereditary or related to aging, many are the result of lifestyle choices. It's never too late to make lifestyle changes that will help improve the health of your heart. These changes may include eating healthy, regular exercise, weight loss, stress management, and quitting smoking. For more information on cardiology services at Copley, call 802-888-8372 or visit copleyvt.org.
Fall and winter is flu season. It takes about 2 weeks after getting a flu vaccine for your body to develop antibodies that protect against flu. So don't wait. Get yourself and your family vaccinated today. Learn more at cdc.gov/fightflu.
Want Brady to hear your opinion on the sports stories of the day? Text in at 802-585-3026.
Now it's back to the Brady Farkas Show on WDEV AM, FM, and WDEVradio.com.
Welcome back in, Brady Farkas Show, right here on WDEV, AM and FM, and WDEVradio.com. We are your racing station, and a big night of racing tonight over at Thunder Road, the nation's site of excitement, the Governor's Cup, the biggest race of the summer. And the biggest name of the summer, making his first appearance at Thunder Road. Joining us now on the phone line, very excited to bring in Brad Keselowski, NASCAR driver, NASCAR Cup champion, a 35 NASCAR Cup Series victories. Brad, thanks for being with us. How are you?
I'm great. Just got to Vermont here, and as soon as I landed, the skies cleared up, and it's a beautiful day. Looking forward to a great night of racing.
Well, we appreciate you being with us. A lot of people excited to see you out on the track at Thunder Road today. Look, my first question, you don't have to do this. You're not obligated to do this. Why do you want to do this?
Well, every once in a while I get an hankering, whatever you want to call it, to run a late model car, and I kind of had a hankering this year, and Vern Chiro that works with me, he said, I know a good opportunity. I'd go run Thunder Road, and I told him, we'll see what we can do, and he got together with the Shaw group here, Dale Shaw, DJ Shaw, and found a car to run here at Thunder Road. So it's always nice to be able to get to a local short track and kind of connect back to the roots of the sport. I grew up running local short tracks and, factory stocks and occasional late model races. And so, I do miss it and like the opportunity to be involved. Hope I can win, too. I want to win something.
What makes grassroots racing, like what happens in Thunder Road, so special?
Well, it's the lifeblood of our sport. It's certainly the amateur level, but that's okay. Every sport has its amateur level, and I enjoy connecting with it. You can really get a pulse for where the sport's at here as much as you can at the cup level, to be quite honest. And I think we're expecting 30-some cars here and a great crowd, which is a good sign for where the health of motorsports is in the United States.
I know you've ridden competitively in a dirt late model before. What are the challenges for you driving in this brand of late model on this kind of short track?
Well, I haven't been on the track yet, but I walked around it. I think probably the biggest challenge is that the tracks are just smaller. The smallest track we race in Cup as far as the point season event is Martinsville. It's over half a mile. And here we're looking more like a quarter mile, so half the distance of the largest or the smallest Cup track. So getting used to being kind of in those tighter quarters is a big challenge for me, no doubt. And then this car as well runs on an 8-inch Hoosier tire where, the NASCAR guys run on 10, even 11-inch tires at the Cup Series level. So getting used to different tires and different size tracks, those are probably the biggest challenges.
Yes, driving is driving, but it's almost like a different sport entirely than what you usually do at the NASCAR level. How do you prepare for an experience like this?
Watch a little video. YouTube. Yeah, you watch some races on YouTube and try to understand what they look like and what the lines are on the racetrack and where the paths are. That's about your best ability to prepare.
Brad Keselowski is with us here on the Brady Farkas Show on WDEV, AM and FM, and WDEVradio.com. NASCAR driver, NASCAR Cup Series champion, and NASCAR is going to be racing this weekend at Loudon in New Hampshire. So Brad's taking a pit stop here in Vermont. Thunder Road is undoubtedly unique, one of the more unique short tracks around. What are some of the more unique tracks you have raced on throughout your career?
Well, not too far from Thunder Road, geographically at least, is Oxford. Oxford, Maine is one of the most unique. I've never been to a track where the wall is so far away. So that was super unique to me. Of course, local short tracks, all of them are a little different in nature, and a lot of people in the Midwest always talk about Slinger, which is kind of a high bank short track. It's super unique. I grew up racing in Michigan, and there was some tracks up there that I always thought were fairly unique. One in Flint called the Auto City Speedway, which had two ends that were completely different. I thought that one was super unique, and since I met my wife and been able to spend time with her family, her father races, and he races at a track in North Carolina called Eastern Carolina. And it's a super unique track, real small corners and almost a jump into one of the corners. So every racetrack, local track across America is unique, and that's what makes it fun, but it's also what makes it challenging because there's a lot of nuances to the track, and you need reps to learn them and master them. And so it's hard to travel and beat these guys that race here all the time. They know all the secrets for sure.
With the shorter distance, with the more compact nature of Thunder Road, how aggressive can you afford to be?
Well, that's a good question. I think obviously you're going to be aggressive at the end of the race, but 150 lap race, long race here at the Governor's Cup. And so you gotta be there at the end for sure. And if you're torn up for being too reckless too early, that's not going to happen.
What kind of reception do you expect to get from the local drivers? What happens when a NASCAR guy goes into a series like this or an event like this? What is the reception typically like?
Well, you got some people that are glad to have you there and some that just want to beat you, to be quite honest. And that's okay. It takes a mixture of both. And certainly don't want to hand out. I want to race and compete it. And it takes all kinds. But also you want to feel welcome. So there's always a mixture of both.
Well, you mentioned that your goal was to win. So what do you think? Again, it's a little bit unfair given you haven't been out on the track yet. But based on the YouTube videos, based on the conversations you've had, what do you think is kind of your best strategy here tonight?
Ooh, best strategy is to fall flat front, keep the car in the bottom lane, and save the rear tires. I think that's going to be the key strategy. But, you were talking to me before the race. I might get the after race to that. Wrong.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing how it plays out. I'll get you out of here on this. Every time I have a driver on, especially a NASCAR driver, I always ask my obligatory Ken Squire question. Ken Squire is the longtime owner of WDEV, one of the faces of NASCAR and its history. I'm curious how often you've been around, Ken, if you have been around, Ken, and kind of what your experiences have been if you have.
Yeah, so Ken is, he's a legend in our sport. There's no way around that. And, I've heard some of his nicknames. The nickname I've heard the most is Golden Throat. And that's because, as he talks, he's got a great way with words that really, I think, resonate with our fans and our sport. And that's something to be super proud of. And certainly grew up as a kid watching him announce races and have a tremendous amount of respect for him. When I came into Cup, he was just kind of retiring from full-time, being a Cup Series announcer. And so I've seen him, part-time, and he's always had nice words to say about my dad and my family, and that's meant a lot to me.
Well, my second obligatory question is the president of NASCAR is Steve Phelps. He is a Vermonter, a UVM product as well. So he's now a couple of years on the job. Your thoughts on the job he's doing, kind of just where NASCAR is in general?
Oh, well, Steve Phelps is one of the biggest challenges that you could have in the sport, isn't it? Running the show, and there's always competing interests and different ideas, and every decision you make, someone's going to be upset about, and you have to kind of deal with the ramifications of that. But we're in a good growth period for NASCAR, and I think Steve Phelps deserves some credit for that. And I'm excited for things to come.
Well, we're excited for things to come on the NASCAR circuit. We're excited for what's coming tonight in a couple of hours over at the nation's side of excitement. Thunder Road, the Governor's Cup, 150 laps, and NASCAR Cup champion Brad Keselowski will be one of those cars looking to take home the Governor's Cup trophy. So, Brad, we appreciate your time. Enjoy Vermont. Enjoy tonight, and best of luck with the rest of the NASCAR season.
Thank you so much. Great to talk to you, and we're glad to be here. Appreciate all the listeners that care about the sport we care so much for here.
That was my talk earlier today with Brad Keselowski, the NASCAR Cup champion from 2012. The post time for the Governor's Cup is a little over a half hour from now at the nation's side of excitement. So, again, that was taped earlier today. We taped that at about 11 a.m. this morning. It was crazy because I had been talking with Brad's team here for a couple of months, and we really kind of talked again this week. And it was all dependent on when they landed, when they got to the track. So it was kind of a moving target as to when we were going to talk. At one point, I thought it was going to be 9 a.m. I thought it was going to be 10. So that's neither here nor there. None of you care about my issues trying to get a guest on. But it was a process trying to make the interview happen. And my point is that Brad was committed to making it work. My takeaway from talking with Brad Keselowski is he really wants to be here, and he really wanted to fully immerse himself in being here. He didn't have to talk to me, right? He could have just said, hey, we landed a little later. I got to get to the track. Sorry, no can do. But he called me at like the latest window possible for him, the latest window possible for me, and we got the interview done. It meant a lot to him to talk to us and to talk to the media in Vermont. And then he seemed genuinely appreciative of his opportunity to be here. Again, he doesn't have to be here. This is not like a contractual appearance for him. He wants to be here. I took that to be sincere. I think it will be a mixed bag for him when it comes to the other competitors. Some guys will look down upon him like, oh, we're going to beat this NASCAR guy. And I think other guys are going to be happy to just share the same kind of pit road as him. So we'll see what happens. The results, we'll have for you tomorrow all over the news on the morning, midday, and afternoon news services. A couple people say, great interview. Thanks for putting Brad Keselowski on. Of course, again, thanks to Brad Keselowski for coming on. So one Red Sox player said something that completely flabbergasts me. I'll tell you what that is next on DEV.
This is WDEV, Vermont's news station, owned and operated by the Radio Vermont Group. From the top of Sugarbush, 96.1 FM, WDEV Warren and Waitsfield, 96.5 W243 Barrie, 98.3 W252 CU Montpelier, along with our founding station, AM 550 WDEV Waterbury Montpelier, streaming at WDEVradio.com. 90 years of serving Vermont, the friendly pioneer, WDEV.
CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Facet Wealth.
I'm Monica Ricks in New York. Former President Trump's first wife, Ivana Trump, has died. CBS's Stephen Portnoy has details.
Ivana Trump was the mother to 3 of Donald Trump's children. In a statement, the former president says Donald Jr., Ivanka, and Eric were Ivana's pride and joy. Mr. Trump maintained a friendly relationship with his first wife, whom he left for Marla Maples. Ivana Trump later appeared in TV commercials with her ex-husband.
Can I have the last slice?
Actually, you're only entitled to half. And she made light of her divorce in the 1996 film The First Wives Club.
Don't get mad, get everything.
Ivana Trump was 73.
Homeland Security's Inspector General has written a letter to lawmakers saying Secret Service deleted all electronic communications, including text messages, from January 5th and 6th last year. That is before and during the Capitol riots. The Secret Service claims it was all wiped during a device replacement program, but it actually happened after oversight officials requested the information.
We remember the life and the legacy of Celestine Chaney.
Moments of silence for 10 people killed in Buffalo, New York. The store where they were killed will reopen tomorrow, 2 months after the mass shooting. Today, the shooter got hit with more charges. Here's CBS's Peter King.
The Justice Department says a federal grand jury has indicted Peyton Gendron on 27 counts, including 14 hate crimes. The 19-year-old white man is accused of killing 10 black people and wounding 3 more.
President Biden made a promise in Israel today.
We will not allow Iran to acquire a nuclear weapon.
Mr. Biden says he still wants to give diplomacy a chance, but Israel's prime minister says force may be the only way to stop them. The CDC is warning COVID is spreading, and it could cause a major surge, leading to more hospital admissions over the coming month. CBS's Danya Bacchus.
It is so infectious.
CBS News medical contributor Dr. David Agus says the variant is able to spread with just a small number of particles.
Before, you needed, say, 1,000 particles. Now it's 100 particles.
They want people to get vaccinated and mask up as much as possible. GM will help install about 500 new electric vehicle charging stations at truck stops across the country soon. Reporter Jeff Gilbert.
These fast chargers can get an EV battery up to 80% charge in a half hour. The idea is for travelers to charge up while they take a driving break. The plan is to put the stations about 50 miles apart on U.S. highways. Construction should start this year.
The Dow lost 142 points today. The NASDAQ added 3. This is CBS News.
Facet Wealth is an SEC-registered investment advisor. They offer customized financial planning for you, not just your assets. Learn more at cbsaudio.com/Jill.
Need a country fair full of family fun? Well, Lamoille County Field Days are back July 22nd through 24th. This Northern Vermont tradition features frequent shows, including Pirate Man Dan, the Wee 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 Racing Pigs, Adventure Family Circus, ventriloquist Al Gettler, Dragon Man, and juggler Jason Tardy. There's entertainment from Larry Lee Bear, the No Strings Marionettes, arm wrestling on Friday night, and Crazy Country on Saturday. Enjoy old favorites like tractor pulling, street stock truck pulling, the kids pedal pull, modified lawn tractor and garden tractor pulling, underhanded skillet tossing for ladies and gentlemen, plus daily agricultural demonstrations and more. All Midway rides, exhibits, parking, and shows are free with your main gate admission during this summer's Lamoille County Field Days, July 22nd through 24th. Route 100C Johnson. Complete details online at LamoilleFieldDays.com.
How well does your garden grow? Tune in Saturdays at 12:30 for In the Garden with Peter Burke. Peter and co-host Joel Nashman give you one full hour of the latest news, helpful tips, and your calls to talk about what's happening in your garden. It's brought to you in part by Montpelier Agway, your locally owned Montpelier Agway, East Montpelier Road. In the Garden with Peter Burke. Live Saturdays at 12:30. Hear the podcast anytime at WDEVradio.com.
The afternoon news service is every single weekday at 4 p.m. right here on WDEV. It's news, it's business, it's sports that you care about. We talk to our local experts from all around the state, looking at every sector to keep you informed and up to date on the latest news that you need to be aware of. The afternoon news service every single day at 4 p.m. right here on the Friendly Pioneer, WDEV, AM and FM, WDEVradio.com, and streaming on the WDEV radio app.
The Brady Farkas Show now has an interactive text line, so reach out now at 802-585-3026.
Now it's back to the Brady Farkas Show on WDEV AM, FM, and WDEVradio.com.
Welcome back in, Brady Farkas Show right here on WDEV. Last couple minutes for me for a bit here. I'm going to be on vacation beginning tomorrow. I'm out all of next week. So we're going to see a couple of different things happen in my absence. So I don't know exactly what days what's happening, but I know there's going to be a mix on some of the short show days. There's going to be a mix of jazz with George Thomas in my place. In this show's place. There's also going to be some days we go right to ESPN radio in this time slot. We are going to air some sports, obviously Red Sox games, the MLB All-Star game we're going to have for you next Tuesday. Red Sox will reconvene again next Friday, I believe, against Toronto. So there will be no Brady Farkas show at all over the course of the next tomorrow through all of next week. Will be some jazz with George Thomas, and there will be some some ESPN programming. But I will miss you all, and I already look forward to getting back to us here on whatever that is. I don't even know. Monday the 28th or something like that. Maybe one Monday the 23rd. I don't know. I'm going to enjoy my vacation, but I will look forward to being back to you. One thing I want to get to quick. This was said over the weekend by Matt Strom, the Red Sox reliever. He told Ken Rosenthal of The Athletic that he's looking to be a starter next season, right? Like, he is going to be a free agent. He wants the market to view him as a starter. He's been one of the Red Sox most valuable relievers this year, although he did get hit the other day and he might go on the injured list, but he has been one of the Red Sox most valuable relievers. It bothers me that he's talking like this already. It bothers me that he's talking about the future like this. He's telling Ken Rosenthal, hey, when I hit free agency, I want to be seen as a starter. That's great, buddy. How about we get through this season where right now you're a reliever and you're trying to help this team get to the playoffs? I don't mind you having goals, but I mind you talking publicly about your goals that might derail or might impact the team's goals. I do not like that. Xander Bogaerts isn't talking about his contract. Rafael Devers isn't talking about his contract. These guys have shelved their individual aspirations. These guys have shelved their individual situations, and they have nixed any talk of the future. And here Matt Strom is out talking publicly to Ken Rosenthal of The Athletic saying, hey, I don't like the role I'm in now. I'd like to be something different. If you're already thinking about the future, how do I know you are invested in the now? If you're already thinking about your next role, how do I have confidence you're okay with your current role? I don't. So that bothers me. It's not the world's biggest issue, but it did bother me. So, yeah, that's that. When I read that, I was like, why are we talking about the future? No one else on this team is talking about the future, but Matt Strom is. Not a fan of that. Not a fan of that. Red Sox looking for a win against the Rays. They're 47-42 overall. Tampa 48-40. Sox a game and a half back of Tampa. Tied coming into play today with Toronto and Seattle for the wild card spots. Pitching matchup is Cutter Crawford. He's 2-2 with a 4.50 for your Sox. Drew Rasmussen 5-3 with a 3.11 for the Rays. Jarren Duran leads off. He's in right field today. The Red Sox have taken him out of center Rafael Devers is at third. J.D. Martinez, the DH. Xander Bogaerts at short. Alex Verdugo in left. Franchi Cordero's at first. Kevin Plawecki is the catcher. JBJ in center. And Jeter Downs at second. No Trevor Story in this one today. He does hope to be back, though, in a day or two. For the Rays, Yandy Diaz at third, G-Man Choi at first, Harold Ramirez the DH, Jonathan Aranda at second, Christian Bettencourt the catcher, Josh Lowe in right, Taylor Walls at short, Luke Raley in left, and Brett Phillips in center. It's a subpar lineup for both teams. I think the Red Sox have the advantage in the lineups. The Rays have the advantage on the mound. We'll see what happens. I will see you all a week from Monday. The All-Star break will be past us. The Red Sox will have had 2 more series under their belt, one against Toronto, one against the Yankees. That's coming up this weekend. We'll see where they're at in about 10 days from now. Have a great 10 days, everybody. Maybe it's 11 days, 9 days. I don't know. I'll miss you, and I'll see you soon. Go Sox.
This is the World Champions of